Hey, I wanted to show you some of the more advanced features in Google Forms and the coordinating spreadsheets. Of course, there are hundreds of awesome features and question types and different things you can do, but these are just the ones that I've found the most helpful over the years of using these. So the first one's actually brand new, and it's the ability to add a picture with each answer option. So this could be really helpful for lower elementary teachers. You just add the picture when you're creating the question over here. So let's say you wanted this other option you're typing, this is where you add the image, and you can pull those from your device or from just the free Google image search. So very cool feature. Now let's say that you don't want to give this as a survey. You want it to be more of like a formative assessment where you're really going to see if they got things right or wrong to inform your instruction, or it's an actual quiz for a grade. Let's take a look at the quiz feature. This is a really great feature. It's over here in the settings, and let me move down here. It's over here, quizzes. So you just click this, make this a quiz, and then you can decide if you want them to see how they did immediately after or after you take a chance to look at it. Usually I leave this one. If you do this, it adds an extra layer of email collection, and it's a clicking of a button, which works if you really want it to be that way. Awesome. I've done that before. It works great. As long as they type their email in correctly, because for this one, they have to type their email in. It doesn't pull it from their computer like other features do. So I usually leave this one. All right, make it a quiz. Good. We're going to hit save here. And so here's what it looks like when you make it a quiz. You would go to your question, like what is the color of a ladybug? You'd click on it. Down here now, answer key. All right, so right here, you get to decide how many points is your question worth. Let's say it's going to be worth 2 points. And you click on what you want your correct answer to be. Now, you can have multiple correct answers if you need that. But in this case, I just have the one, and I'm going to hit done. All right, so I just made that a quiz, and you would go through each of your questions. Let's say this one, you want it to be worth 1 point, and this is the correct answer. And then let's say this one, you don't want it to be for points. You can have some questions on your quiz for points and some that aren't. And so you would just leave it at 0 for your answer key. You could potentially give them 0 points, but still let them know what the correct answer is. Now you can even do this for written ones. I usually have my written ones worth 0, and then I just take a look at them. But if you really wanted, if it was a simple answer, you could add several ways to type that. Just realize though that if a kid spells the word wrong, it's going to tell them that they got it wrong. But that is an option that you can have multiple correct answers there for a written question. All right, so that's the quiz feature. Very neat. On your end, what that will look like if you made it a quiz, I'll show you one of mine, is it will show you, okay, Drew got 5 out of 5. Ian got 5 out of 5. Kira got 4 out of 5. So it shows you their score on your questions. And whether you're just using that formatively to see who needs help, who is getting it, or you're actually translating that into a grade book, that's up to you. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is actually in this. Let's say that you're giving some type of survey and you want an email anytime someone fills it out. Now for this, if you're expecting everyone to fill it out, I wouldn't do that. But let's say it's some type of gathering information that not everybody's going to do. For example, I've had where students want to take a test correction or take a test retake. I'll post a link to a form that asks them, what test was it? Why did you do poorly? Why would you like a retake? What didn't you get? Do you need any help from me? Those types of questions. I'm not expecting students to fill every student to fill that out. So I would like an email when a student fills that out. Here's how you do that. You just go to Tools and Notification Rules, and you can just say, hey, let's delete that so you can see what it looks like. Notify me at my email anytime someone submits a form. I want an email right away. And then you can just hit save, and that'll happen. And that might be helpful to you if you're using this for more of an individual type thing. All right, the last feature that I wanted to show you is just how do you make, let's say you're getting hundreds of these responses and the information is just jumbled. Well, you can sort according to row. The default is that it's sorted by time. But let's say you don't want it by time. You want it by what hour they're in. You just go to the little arrow above this and you hit sort A to Z. And that will sort according to whatever the information they have in that row. So A to Z is alphabetical or numerical order. So let's say I want it according to that, but then I also want it sorted according to their name. Now I have last names hidden using the hide feature, but we'll pretend these are their last names. So I can also hit sort A to Z to have it by their name, and then I can go ahead and do this again. And now it'll be according to name and according to their hour, almost like my grade book setup. So that's really helpful. You can sort according to score. If you wanted all the students who did poorly brought up to the top, that's helpful too. Now, speaking of students doing poorly, let's say that's really why you are giving this Google form, is you just want to see if students are getting it or not. And you want certain ones to jump out to on the screen. That's called conditional formatting. So if I, let's say right here, I click that little arrow and I go to conditional formatting, this is so cool, you guys. I can say, hey, in this column, if let's say anything that, there's so many options, but let's say anything that is less than a 2, I want that to be red so that my eyes are drawn to those students who are struggling. Now you can see, oh, that didn't work. Let's try it again. How about if the value contains a 2? We're going to make it red. Ah, there it is. And then, of course, if they got a 1, I would want to know about that too. So we'll say, we'll add another rule and say if it contains a 1, I want that to be red as well. All right, so if a student got a 1 or a 2, really low on my quiz, I'm going to know about that. Now, I could even add another layer and say, okay, if the student got a 3, then maybe they're not red, but maybe they're yellow. They're on my watch list. Done. And I can come over here and see. Why isn't that a 3? Oh, there it is. Oh, it was because it was just in that one cell, not in the entire, I see. Not in the entire column there. So I guess watch out for that. Let's try it now. There we go. Now it's a 3. So this one was for the entire C column. This one is the entire C column. This one is the entire C column. This one, I must have just been clicked on that one cell when I made that rule. So I'm going to get rid of that rule. All right, so that's conditional formatting. You learn by just playing around, making mistakes. That's the best way to learn. You can also do that per question. Like, let's say this was a really basic question and I would want to be like, my eyes would want to be drawn to anyone who got that one wrong. You can do that same conditional formatting and just say, hey, if the text in this box does not contain the correct answer clean, I want to know about that. I want to see that in red. And so that will also draw my attention. Now, maybe she did well overall, but got that most basic question wrong. Maybe she's someone I want to keep an eye on too. So that's called conditional formatting. And you can access it up here too, but the best place is just to pick your row, hit that little button, scroll down here to conditional formatting. All right. Hopefully this helps give you some more tools as you explore Google Forms and the coordinating sheets. Thanks.